I lost my job, I lost my house, and then I lost my body. 30 shots a day, roughly 2 bottles of liquor. The doctor straight up said, dude, Kohdi, if you drink, you die. There's a bar down the street, just get it over with. The doctor that saved my life said this. I had hepatitis, pancreatitis, just went through cardiac arrest, ascites, esophageal varices, jaundice at a 30.6, acute liver failure. They're like, dude, you're not gonna make it through this. I was seeing demons, bugs. I was hallucinating so hard. 3.5 million people die every single year because of alcohol. It's a poison, bro. When we practice alcoholic behavior, guess what we get? Alcoholism. Happiness is literally the neurological cure to alcoholism. You know how I know this? Happy people don't drink poison. Alcohol is a parasite, and we are the host. It's really interesting to think that the alcohol that's invading your personality is seeking itself. You don't even care. Because if you did, you would do something with your life. It's facts, dude. I experienced all that alcohol has to offer, and it destroys more than it creates.
All right. So I'm super excited for this podcast, by the way.
Me too.
I love your energy. So I just really want to dive straight into the nitty-gritty of your liver failure and cardiac arrest and like near death. Give me all the details.
As a whole, all of them, because they're bloody, they're gruesome, they are nasty. I literally just put out a video, and it was just like, dude, I was afraid to look down. My insides were on the outside. Like it was bad, dude. I say this because most people on Earth are never going to experience what we've experienced. Liver failure, cardiac arrest. That's rarely something that you very rarely meet someone that knows what it's like for their heart to stop and to remember dying. It's very rare you run into somebody and be like, oh yeah, my liver failed years ago. What? It takes either an extreme amount of underlying conditions or an excessive amount of aggressive action on the liver for it to go, hey, dude, I've had enough, man. And just throwing some basic stats out there, 3.5 million people die every single year because of alcohol. And almost every person that practices alcoholic behavior, which is drinking to binge and black out and get drunk and food bar and all that stuff, they've done enough damage for a doctor to say, you've got cirrhosis, bro, which is scarring and burning of the liver. The difference with my circumstance and a lot of people that I've spoken to is that people have like stage 1 cirrhosis. Maybe they'll have pancreatitis or hepatitis, alcohol induced. They'll still have the pains, the fatigue. Oh my goodness. They'll go through all of that stuff and just keep drinking. They'll stretch it out for years and years and years, just drink the pain away. Then there's people who did an excessive amount of damage in a very short period of time. Like myself, I drank heavily for like 16 years. Heavily, not saying excessively, just heavily. Just, hey, we're going to party this weekend. Wait, I could drink 10 beers. I could drink 15 beers, and we'll do it again tomorrow, right? What? Just heavily. That's what a high tolerance is. If you have a high tolerance, you're drinking heavily, period. So I drink through my teens, right? Going into adulthood, obviously my tolerance was high, so I drank more, partied, ended up homeless. That was crazy. Spent a year on the street.
This is all in California?
This is all in California. Yeah, this is in Santa Barbara. So I went to the Art Institute of LA and then ended up in the streets of Santa Barbara. That was, I guess if you're going to be homeless, might as well be on the beach on Santa Barbara or in at the. It wasn't too bad, but it was still not fun. But that's when I started gaining weight, started drinking more alcohol. Obviously, the weight of my despair made alcohol and escapism really prominent. So that kind of was a partial catalyst to me just, hey, where can we party? Where can we drink? Whose house can we crash at? Can we just get a bottle? Let's just get faded. I don't want to think about the shack that I'm living in. I don't want to think about where I'm going to get my food. I'm just going to drink to numb the hunger pains. And you look at people who are homeless going like, I get you, bro. Here's my 75 cents, man. Hungry sucks, right? But if you could numb it, I get you. So just practicing all this alcoholic behavior until I became a professional DJ. Then I was being flown around different states, playing with celebrities. Ended up in Palm Springs, man. That's
Wait,
first sound.
So you went from homeless to being a celebrity DJ.
There's space in between there, but yeah.
Oh,
So came from absolutely nothing to being flown around to different states, hanging out with cats on stage, partying with these guys. You know, I did 9 years in Palm Springs and Coachella. So I was around when Coachella was starting to like pop off. Like
wow.
it was getting really big. I've even played at Coachella on like the fairgrounds. So my whole life was really derivative of who's drinking, how much alcohol is in your body, where's the party at, all of that stuff. You do that for long enough, you do 30 years of damage in 15 years. And that's what happened to me. So eventually, alcohol put me in a position where I lost my job. Then I lost my money. Then I lost my house. Then I lost my car. And then I lost my body. It was a slow progression of about 6 months to where I was just taking a nap, man. I was 6 months in, I was drinking about 30 shots a day, roughly 2 bottles of liquor per day with a full-blown addiction at this point. Um, and I was taking a nap, man. I felt a little sick, and then I went to the restroom and just started vomiting blood all over the mirrors, all over the sink. It just kept pouring out of me. Uh, it turns out that 2 veins had burst in my throat while I was sleeping, and so I was bleeding thin blood profusely into my stomach, and I had poisoned myself with my own blood, which is just bananas, dude. Uh, I got rushed to the hospital. They did emergency surgery on my throat. The stress of that surgery stopped my heart. They put me in ICU, brought me back and then put me in ICU. When I finally came back, they told me, "Hey, dude, you're dead, man. You're not gonna make it out of here, bro. Like, if you make it through the week, it's a miracle." Uh, they determined that I had hepatitis, pancreatitis, just went through cardiac arrest, ascites, esophageal varices, jaundice at a 30.6, which is Simpson's yellow, um, and then acute liver failure. I was just dying. Like
Oh my gosh.
there was zero hope. They're like, dude, you're not gonna make it through this. So I already started signing my life away. They're like, you're probably gonna die here. So sign this for us. So these people could speak on your behalf. It's called something attorney or voice of attorney or something like that. Power of attorney.
Power of attorney.
Yeah. So eventually they're like, hey dude, we can't guarantee anything, but um a room just opened up in one of our liver centers. If you're willing to basically sign your life away and accept the fact that we're gonna do some pretty horrendous things to you in attempts to stop you from dying permanently, just sign here. And yeah, and so I did. They wanted to do liver dialysis, didn't end up happening. They put ports in my chest that were going to drain my blood out. They were going to clean it, put my blood back in. That for some reason didn't happen. Uh, they couldn't numb me because my liver was so shot that if they gave me any types of medication, that it could stop either my heart or my liver, and they need both those in order to function. So, for lack of better words, I was tortured for about 250 hours. I lost 60 pounds in 11 days. My body literally ate every single calorie it could find. It stripped the meat off my bones just to generate enough strength to stay alive and survive whatever they were doing to me. As a matter of fact, probably about 90% of what I remember from the hospital was a hallucination. I was seeing
Wow.
demons, bugs, dead bodies. I I, I was hallucinating so hard that I thought that I was sleeping on a park bench on a college campus surrounded by people. Like, I did not know where I was. But that's not to mention that I had been hallucinating for years because I had an addiction for about 2.5 years. So I was a high functioning alcoholic. And so within the hour of my last drink, I started to shake and convulse. So in order to keep the shakes away, I needed to drink 1 to 2 shots every single hour, which means I was barely sleeping, wasn't getting rest, wasn't eating. It was horrendous. So when I went in there, I was one of the worst cases they had ever seen. And they're like, "There's no way you're gonna make it through this." Miraculously, I survived it, and I had neuropathy so bad and so much fatigue in my leg, muscle atrophy, that I couldn't even walk. I couldn't carry myself to the restroom. I couldn't do anything on my own. Could barely formulate sentences. So I went in there thinking I was pretty badass, walked out feeling less than human. And so, well, I didn't even walk out. They rolled me out of there. And then I spent 3 months just on the couch, which was taking about 19 pills a day, had about 3 bottles of lactulose from the ammonia in my brain every single week. They had me on muscle relaxers to curb any cravings and any anxiety that may lead me to drinking. But in total, it took me about 18 months just to be able to drive a car again. Since then, it's a whole different thing. So
Wow.
what you're seeing here is 8 years of absolute 100% commitment to health and happiness. Less than nothing, all the way to now I'm international best-selling author. I have about 1 million followers across my social media accounts. I've been on countless podcasts. I have hundreds of hours on my own podcast. It's really incredible. Not to mention, the creator of one of the most transformative recovery programs available today called Beyond Sober. The unlabeled recovery programs out there too. Like, I committed my health and happiness and second opportunity at life to support those that may be struggling and going down the same path that I did, or to prevent circumstances from happening so we don't have to recover from anything other than our thoughts. But it's because of that work that we get a chance to chat it up today.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I have like goosebumps. Like, it's so crazy. Like, you were literally dead and you are here helping people change their lives. Like, I always say, like, obviously, God had another reason or another, like, it wasn't your time. Like,
Right.
you have a reason to be here and you're
Mhm.
changing lives.
The trippy part about that is when you go through that process, you don't come back from death going, I understand everything. It took, like, I could barely even think straight, let alone like have full on sentences that weren't in this stutter and like feel like a regular person. So it wasn't until, I don't know, a year in that I even remembered that I did die. It wasn't until then that I was like, oh my, whoa, I was going through my paperwork. It all flooded back to me. And I've met numerous people that had the exact same or very, very similar experience. And the trip is once you've lost everything, you're free to do anything. For me, I didn't have a choice. The doctor straight up said, dude, Cody, if you drink, you die. So if there's any inkling that you're ever gonna do that again, there's a bar down the street, just get it over with. The doctor that saved my life said this. He's like, there's no doing what you did, bro. So I took him seriously. That was the only phrase I needed. I've never lapsed, never relapsed, never craved. I don't think about alcohol, nothing. All because I was able to conclude that I can't get anything out of it. I experienced all that alcohol has to offer, and it destroys more than it creates. So for me, it took years before I realized that I had a story to offer. Because when I first got into building YouTube channels and social media and getting present again, feeling like I had something to say, I was embarrassed. There was absolutely no way that I was ever going to tell you that I had an alcohol problem, let alone had a felony and an ankle bracelet and had to do community service, bright yellow. I had to go to AA for 30 days and 4 people killed themselves, dude. Like, I'm not out here trying to, share that information. That is counterintuitive to the man that I believe I am. But then I jumped on TikTok in 2019 and you see these kids pretending to do what alcoholics do, not realizing that that's the type of stuff that we did in extreme addiction. You want to try and not make a face when you're taking a shot of tequila? That's what we all used as our measurement to show you how seasoned we are at poisoning ourselves. Make a face. That's your body's honest, visceral response to consuming a literal gasoline. And you're trying to pretend like it's not. Don't get good at that. So I responded to this one, there was just one person, one girl was like, Don't make a face challenge. Hey, do you want to see what happens when you get really good at not making a face? Boom, 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 liver failure, bright yellow eyes, all the things. 4.4 million views. Now that same
Wow.
video is at 9 million views from early 2020, something like that, late 2019. But it was because of that my inbox was flooded, flooded. I've never felt more overwhelmed in my entire life. Because everyone was like, "Help me. Oh my God, my dad just died. My mom is dying. I'm in the hospital right now, man. I can't stop. I'm drinking the same alcohol that killed my brother. Dude, I think I'm an alcoholic. I don't know what you." I'm talking thousands, thousands of messages. It was just so insanely overwhelming. It was at that moment that I realized that I can't help everybody at the same time like this. So
Right.
what do I need to do to replicate myself so I can reach as many people as possible, as often as possible? That's how Beyond Sober was created. Is I was like, here's every single thing I've done since the hospital. This is how I think. This is what I do. This is what I eat. This is how it's done. Here's a new way to look at life so you accept things for what they are instead of punishing yourself for what they're not. Let me teach you some radical acceptance. Just let things be, man. Let them. You don't have to care. Easier said than done. So that's why we have the communities that are working with each other and practicing the techniques and the specifics that I recommend, depending on who you are, in the program itself and outside in the chat rooms and the discords and Facebook and all that stuff. It's powerful, powerful stuff. And then you get really tired of saying the same thing 1,000 different ways. And at that moment, someone comes in your inbox and says, "You saved my life, dude. You don't know
Yeah.
this, but it was your video a year and a half ago that got me sober. You didn't know this, man,
Exactly.
but I've been struggling for the past 2 weeks. And here you are saying the one thing that I needed to hear, bro. Don't ever stop. You're helping more people than you could possibly imagine, dude. Don't quit." It always pops up at the same moment that I am frustrated that I can't help more people or I feel like I'm going nowhere. And then I
I
go,
feel you. I feel you.
every time. So I know that nowadays, I know that when I'm getting flustered and I'm overwhelmed and I'm building websites and creating content, as I mentioned, I've released close to 7,000 videos across all the platforms, 5,000 videos specifically just on TikTok. When that becomes too much, I know that what I'm doing is at least helping one person change their life. And in turn, maybe they're helping somebody else. And in turn, maybe that person's helping someone else. So I know
Yeah.
that who I am is helping the collective consciousness raise. And at least at least there's a reminder out there that it's okay to be human.
Right. I've had somebody and he said something to me and it has just stuck with me. He said, "Megan, you don't know how many lives you're changing." He's like, You helped me. In return, I got to shoot this photo shoot, which
Mm,
then in turn changed a law
mm,
it to protect people." And he's like, The chain of events from your one video, like,
mhm.
just keeps spiraling." And I was like, "Wow." He's like, "You don't know how many lives you've actually touched." He's like, "Obviously, I tell you, but, like, you touching my life has touched millions of other people's lives." I'm like, "Oh my
100%.
gosh." It's insane. It just blows my mind. I'm like, "Little me." Like, obviously, I don't have a story like you, but, like,
You don't need a
ours
story like me.
right.
You really don't. You just have to be exactly who you are. And this is why I thank people for being who they are. Anytime I'm going live or, chatting with somebody and they go, "Thanks." I'm like, "Hey man, I appreciate you being exactly who you are." Sometimes we need to just realize that we are enough right now. We don't have to do more. We're allowed to be content and fulfilled and accept things as they are, man. Why are we pushing the boundaries so far? This isn't a race. It's not a game, dude. Like right now is the only moment that exists. And one of my favorite things to remind people of when it comes to connection and specifically our individual importance. I had numerous programs. I had 5. And one of these, I'm going, dude, never underestimate the power of your presence, man. There's so many of us that I talk to people all the time. They're like, "I just wish it would stop. I wish I wasn't here. I wish blah blah blah." Dude, my life is better because you exist. Everything that's ever happened has led me to this specific conversation. What, I'm not going to be better because of it? I'm a different person since I met you. I was me plus this. I'm different. You're different. We're different. What? We're at the peak of our existence right now. This is the oldest we've ever been. Crazier part, this is the youngest we're ever going to be. Whoa. Yeah, this is the moment, and it always is. But we've got to look at this and go, okay, is what I'm doing today setting me up for success tomorrow? Not how many people can I help in an act of selflessness. It is how inward am I willing to go? So when I am working with people, when I'm around people, when my environment contains people, that my mere existence alone is enough to empower their life in a positive way. They're not going to forget how you made them feel ever. They may forget everything you said, but they're always going to remember who you are. So are we doing the work, or are we still using these substances and these relationships and these toxins to escape the feeling so we can grow into the person we ultimately wish we were?
Oh my gosh, this is so good. Like, I am so glad that like you responded to me. Like, and by the way, you have like I don't you kind of have like a Pauly Shore vibe.
Yep, everyone, I've gone viral for saying that. Actually, people have
Really?
been saying that since 2014. Like,
Really?
I was 14, my bad. I'm 39, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, even the whistle. Pauly Shore actually commented on one of my videos and was like, "Hey, he kind of does look like me, bros." I'm like, "Whistle." Yeah,
That's awesome. Oh my gosh.
but
Okay,
that's
so
the thing.
I want to okay, so I don't know how to ask this without like stuttering over my words. So you're in liver failure, you're pretty much dying. You come out of the hospital and you're like, that was it. I'm done
Yeah,
drinking. Like never
yeah,
again.
yeah. I've met many people. This is why we call it the switch. Your
Yes.
brain is going to switch. Okay,
Yeah.
it's why we just don't stop. We could get at anything we practice. I was working with someone who was just like, "Hey, man, I just wanted to meet you." Everyone that joins the program, I meet with personally. Like, we'll chat for 30
Oh,
minutes, an hour, everybody that joins. And I reach out and I follow up with them a couple weeks into it, see if they need anything, if I can answer anything, introduce them to things. I met this gentleman who's like, dude, my liver failed. And the doctor told me that if I drink, I'll die. I haven't craved since. The switch, whatever it's that easy. It's that simple. It's the latching onto the reality. And the point of it is, it doesn't matter how you feel about it, dude. It's killing you. It doesn't matter if you have an opinion. It's a poison, bro. It doesn't matter how high your tolerance is. You're that much closer to death. The only reason this is impressive to you is because you're not well. Your
whoa.
feelings don't change the facts, man. The facts is it's up inside all your friends, dude. You're not the special one. You're not built different. I wish you were. If you were the one that was built different, we could just study you. But you're not. You're also not the one that can't get sober either. I know it feels that way. But the point of Beyond Sober is no one cares if you're sober. Who cares? No one cares if you're not punching people in the face. Hey, great job. You didn't hit anybody today. Who cares? You didn't drink anything? Whoa, rat. That's stupid. Nobody cares. Sobriety is literally 4 days without alcohol. Clinically sober. You go to a hospital, you run a blood test. Guess what, boo boo? You're just as sober as that dude that's been in AA for 30 years and won't stop talking about it. Sober is sober. Okay. Sober is inevitable. Even if you pretend like you care about yourself, you're going to get sober. Sober is literally 96 hours. The first 3 days kind of suck sometimes for some people. After that, what are you going to do? Recover. We need to recover from the behaviors that led us or have been continuing to lead us towards dependency. That's drinking because I'm sad, drinking because I'm excited, drinking because I'm bored, drinking because I got nothing to do, drinking because I got all kinds of stuff to do. When we practice alcoholic behavior, guess what we get? Alcoholism. Nope, you weren't born like that. Every single alcoholic was once a casual drinker. At what point did the dependency kick in? We Nobody knows what drink it was that activated that genetic dependency. Do you remember?
Genetic dependency, I like that.
Dude, alcoholism is something that is activated. It comes to the surface, right? Think of it. It's not a disease. If it was, we would just cure it. And we do. Happiness is literally the neurological cure to alcoholism. You know how I know this? Happy people don't drink poison. They just don't. What? They're not out here going, hey, we're doing so well. Look at all of our money. Look at our house. Look at our family. Look at our success. Look how healthy we are. You know what we should do? Ruin it. They just don't do that. Not to mention that people that practice happy behaviors physiologically change their entire genetic structures. Their cells are different. They vibrate at different frequencies. They're easier going. They're not as perturbed or annoyed. They experience less stress, which means they have less of a reason to drink. Not to mention, they practice the behaviors that lead them towards water instead of punching people in the face and taking a shot afterwards. Right? People that don't do that struggle with substances and all that jazz. How do I know? I did that most of my life thinking that everybody did it. Nope. Only unhealthy people or people that
Mhm.
aren't practicing enough healthy behavior feel like that is normal. It's just not, dude. It's just not.
Oh my gosh. So gosh, you're like so spot on. Okay, so I want to kind of go back to the felony. So,
Mhm.
do you mind telling us what you got a felony for? And you said you did 30 days of AA. Like,
Yeah,
where, when was this in your journey?
that's really good. Yeah. So the felony was self defense. We were all drunk. And then the neighbors called the cops. Everyone got arrested. Well, I got arrested. But I never even got a chance to tell my side of the story. Like, that's years, man. We're talking about negotiations with different law firms. I didn't even do I was attacked, and I was the one that caught the felony? Yeah, because I didn't call, and neither did the other persons. It was somebody else. It was a whole third party thing. But when in Riverside County in California, dude, they don't joke. If someone calls, someone's going in. Someone's getting in trouble. It's one of the most raw counties, like, that there is, man. It's right outside LA County. Like, they don't mess around. They don't care. I even talked to a gentleman not too long ago. He's like, you know Riverside? I'm like, dude, I've been arrested there, dude. You know how many times I've been in handcuffs in Palm Springs, dude, just for dude, I lived in a crack house, man. Like, what? Like, I didn't do crack, but I didn't know. I didn't know. How did I know that you were the kingpin? I just thought you had a room for rent. So my whole life has always been doing shady things, like things I'm not proud of. I've never hurt anybody, but the point is that I also used to drunk drive. I also used to party. We did crazy stuff. But my point with that is eventually you just become so careless that you find yourself surrounded by people that don't care about your feelings, about your body, about your health, about your safety, and you end up with a felony. So here we go. That was actually the start of a lot of my, not the start, but it was a secondary catalyst to a lot of my drinking. Because right when I got released, I only did 24 hours in the state thing, like the courthouse, whatever they call that. But when I got out, the first thing I did is went to the bar, drink about it. Everyone was like, I heard you got arrested. Yeah, bro. I'm out. How was it? It sucked. Okay. Double, triple. The only thing I just went home, got my gear, went back to the bar that I was a DJ at. Free drinks all night, like nothing happened. But that's not true. I had 3 years probation. I had 2 ankle braces, thousands of dollars in fine. Had to do anger management classes. Had to do 250 hours of community service. Had to do volunteer work. I had to, like, formal probation. I had to report to somebody. This is before my liver failed, right? This is about 6 months. This happened 6 months before my liver failed. So when I was in the hospital, they had to put me in an MRI. You know what they had to do prior to me taking that MRI, even though I was already dying? 2 things had to happen. My probation officer needed to be informed that I'm not
Oh.
at the house. It's a medical emergency. The second thing, they had to cut my ankle bracelet off. Otherwise, the MRI machine or whatever was going to explode my leg because it's metal and electronics. So I went in there. Actually, I remember feeling like, oh, I feel so much better because I don't have this strap on my ankle at that point. Stupid logic. It's so crazy. Like when you really go back and look at these things, you go, I understand exactly why I felt that way, but that is insane to even consider. Um, my point with that is me thinking that at least my liver failing got the ankle bracelet removed, like that was the rainbow of the circumstance. Um, but when I got out of the hospital, they said like, hey, Cody, your liver is still done, bro. So in order for you to qualify for a new liver, you have to stay sober for 6 months, which means go to AA. They handed me a piece of paper that said, go to AA, stay sober. In 6 months, if you still need a liver and you have all this paperwork signed off, we'll put you on the list. But if you even drink one time, dude, you get no liver. There's no guarantee. So I was like, I went to AA. And apparently that was the good one. Everyone's drinking in the parking lot. You got, oh my God, like just bananas. But in the 30 days that I was there, two of the sponsors, two of the lead people just drank themselves to death. Two other people that are just kind of that are, well, I guess what you would say is familiars. They also killed themselves with alcohol, and they've been in AA for years and years and years. So my first experience with AA is everyone's out here dying. Like this is a grave, dude. Like I don't want to hear about that. You did what to who when you were? Why are we talking about this? This is horrendous. It was just war story, pain, anguish, despair, tears. Why are we crying? This is what is this there? I'm still bright yellow. I just got out of the hospital, and I have to go. I have to start this in order to qualify for a liver. So the crazy part, when I'm in AA, people ask me what's happening like they don't know. What do you mean? All you guys have been in here, you two lady, for years? You've never seen someone with a struggling liver? Oh my God, I didn't know it could get that bad.
Oh my God.
Me looking good, bro. And they're like, I was like, it gets worse. And they're like, oh my God. Holy I'm gonna die here. I mean, you guys are gonna make me drink. Like I'm like a week out, man, and I have to roll myself into this place, dude. Like I didn't even have a car. Like I had to it was just insane. So I knew I was gonna drink 100%, not because I wanted to, but because I knew that this place is where people go to die. I'm not hating on AA, dude. It's helped millions of people. And the reason for that is it's been around for 88 years. Of course, it's going to help a few people, but it also is the cause of 78% of relapses. Dude, I was going to be one of them. I got ADHD, bro. Don't put me in a box. What? Don't tell me what to do. I'll die in my own way. I already did. Like, good. So I went to the gym instead and I haven't left. The gym is what saved me. So I started doing doubles in the gym. I learned how to walk in the gym, handstands in the gym, flexible. They call me Nashville Ninja just because I'm a breakdancer and flips and like all the things. The gym and physical fitness is what physically transformed my body into not needing a new liver. I have the same liver almost 8 years later. Doctors can't even tell. The only thing that I've added to my regimen is meditation and vitamins. Other than that,
So working out, supplements, and meditation.
that's it.
Wait, hold on. So you went to AA, you're like, oh shit, this ain't gonna work for me. I'm
Yep.
gonna go to the gym.
Yep.
But I just have to how do people get liver replacements drinking, like if they have liver failure without doing 6 months? Is that a nationwide thing?
I've honestly never even heard of that. Because the people that I personally work with, they're like, I've been, or my mom's been on the transplant list for a year. Like her liver's been failing like she's on end stage liver failure and she's waiting for a liver to come in. And then they'll call me up, dude, she got it. They're on their way. They're going to do the surgery right now. So emergency surgeries, I don't know. You have to qualify. Like you have to be like a genetic match in order to do that. And nowadays they could transfer livers that have hepatitis. Actually, I didn't know I had hepatitis. It was just alcohol hepatitis. But if you have hepatitis but not cirrhosis, technically your liver is healthy enough because it can be healed through hepatitis, healthy enough to donate to someone else that has like stage 4 cirrhosis like I did. So there may be some shifts in the industry, I'm assuming. I personally haven't heard of like an emergency liver transplant. That is a whole thing, man. But to kind of like add to that, because AA was the only thing that they recommended to me, and I was taking my life seriously. I literally said, I'd rather die on my own outside of AA than guarantee my demise by going back to that room. My mom went to AA. My dad was in AA. My little sister was in AA. Her liver failed too. Same thing. Crazy, right? You got to think of the circumstances where the two kids, two of three, drink themselves to death, man. What? Years apart from each other too. Dude,
Whoa.
yeah. Like we've been through it, man. We've been through stuff that
So is everyone sober?
my little sister, I believe she's kind of bouncing in and out of rehab. My older brother, I don't think he drinks. My mom is officially sober. She did a mix of AA and the Beyond Sober program. And my dad, I just found out, is in a nursing home. Hopefully, he doesn't have access to the alcohol because he's the reason we all hated life. Dude, living with an alcoholic, man, or someone that practices alcoholic behavior and makes it look cool, it's a total twist in your existence. I didn't know. I didn't know he was doing drugs and drinking, dude. What? Is that why you did that to us? Is that why you did that to my sister? Is that why you treated my mom like that my whole life? Is that why I don't actually have a mom? Because of you? Bro, it just horrible. So the family dynamics, of course, contributed to the escapism. Also, once I got out of the hospital and started recovering and doing things on my own, I learned that I got extreme ADHD. Yeah, those thoughts you were thinking when you were 13, having a beer at 4 a.m. in the morning, that's not normal, dude. What? Yeah, you got ADHD. You got all the ADHDs, bro. This is why regimen is so important for a brain like this, because undiagnosed ADHD, you're 10 times more likely to specifically develop an addiction to alcohol.
I mean, I was diagnosed with ADHD probably 3 or 4 years ago, and after I quit drinking, I was like, this is one of the reasons I drank is because I needed it to calm my brain.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of people I've worked with, once they got their diagnosis, I've gone viral for talking about it. Hey, man, if you crave alcohol and you think you might have ADHD, go get tested, see what happens. People come back, they get their Adderall or their Vyvanse or whatever it is, they get their dopamine regulated, don't crave alcohol at all. And it's because we're looking, once everything goes away, remember, alcohol is a symptom. It is not the problem. If I didn't feel that way, I wouldn't drink that way. If you felt better, would you drink less or none at all? Yeah, I don't drink because I feel good. Exactly. You drink because the thousands of thoughts you have per second feel like there's impending doom, and you don't know if you want to lie down or sit down, dude. You have so much to do and nothing's happening. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just here. So once people regulate those things, they go, oh, dude, like I don't need to escape. I actually feel pretty good. Like, why would I do that? But this is also why recovery is about designing a brain and a body and an environment that facilitates the same or identical experience that we believe alcohol is providing us. Everybody wants what alcohol provides, regardless if they drink. You tell me you don't want peace, dude? What you talking about? Well, what? You don't want to be a little bit thinner for no reason because you're not eating as much? Of course you want to sip. You're telling me that you wouldn't be cool with one less thought? Dude, everybody wants what alcohol provides, but nobody ideally should want how we get it. You're telling me I have to consume a literal poison, a toxin, a carcinogen to pretend like my issues don't exist? I'm not drinking because I don't care, dude. I'm drinking because I don't want to care. I care so much. I guess how much care I have. Enough to hurt myself. That's how much. Just make it stop. Of course, it's right over there. Just go, just one drink. It's that simple. But this is why we recover and go, I'm way more likely to grab my water than I am to grab a drink. That's what recovery is all about.
Oh my gosh. So your toolbox were three main things, and it's led you to change thousands and thousands of people's lives.
Correct.
You I I love the gym part of this because, like, I did 75 hard, and I too was, like, obsessed with drinking. That's the only thing I knew how to do, and, like, if I didn't stop, I'm sure I would be in a really deep spot. Like, I was just getting worse. But, like, working out, I don't think people realize, like, you got to freaking move your body when you're quitting drinking. You can't just sit up in a freaking room or on the couch and think that you're just one day gonna be like, "Oh, I don't wanna drink anymore." You gotta do the work. Like, people don't realize, like, it's the freaking work that we have to do.
Well, we look at the word work and we go, it's going to be hard. It's just as hard as poisoning yourself, bro, and then recovering the next. What are you talking? It's actually easier. Just don't do something that hurts you, and with that same energy, do something that improves you. Nah, you're gonna be tired. Choose your hard, bro. You're gonna be exhausted. You're gonna be exhausted from punishing yourself with toxins, or from punishing yourself 75 hard. Just do the 75. See, what's the worst that could happen, bro? A better life? What? Yeah.
Right?
We don't look at it like that. We look at it as a chore. We look at our whole life as a chore. We don't really look at our brain and our body and our environment as a gift. Once you start radically looking at what you have, who you are, what you're doing, what your potentials are, where you're going, you start to practice recognizing your own impact. You start to operate with purpose. There's purpose in doing nothing. Just enjoy yourself if you're going to do it. Don't work for it. You could sit down. You don't have to turn in a spreadsheet. You don't have to ask for permission. Relax, dude. You're a person. You're allowed to do it. Practice being happy for no reason. Who said you need a reason to be happy? Huh? You can get pissed for no reason, but you won't be happy for no reason? Oh, it's so difficult. Have you practiced? No. That's why the other thing is so easy. It's because that's what you practice. You're good at anything you practice, including not practicing, boo-boo. So what are we going to start practicing? Struggling forward or doing the exact same thing and struggle in place? You're good at that. But if you don't even want to shift, you don't want to challenge, you're always going to get what you always got, which means you're never going to have what you've never had.
Oh my gosh. Did you realize that you were drinking poison when you were in full addiction? Like, did it ever ring a bell, like, what you were actually consuming?
Yes. But at that point, I didn't mean to say but. It is a big but, though. Um, at that point, I knew it was a medicine. I didn't drink to get drunk. I wasn't out here getting faded. High functioning alcoholics don't drink to get drunk. We drink to act sober. We function poorly without our medication. So the shakes and the thoughts and the stutters and the brain fog, when we drink, that's the same as taking a medication. That's the addiction. Our brain and body has literally sacrificed all of the naturally occurring elements that help us function and substituted it for the one thing it can expect. It's getting its calories, its hydration, its food, it's getting its sedation, it's getting all of these things from it, and it doesn't stop coming. So at that point, I was like, I don't just have a problem, dude. I got a full blown addiction. Well, I can't stop now. If I stop, there's a problem. I pushed it too far. Nothing one more drink won't fix. It's the constant escapism. But that is the cycle. Is alcohol is what's trying to get you to pick it up. Alcohol is a narcissist, dude. It is never.
And then when it gets into a narcissist hand,
Exactly. Well, alcohol makes people act narcissistically. Alcohol is a parasite, and we are the host. So once it starts invading the brain and becoming the personality, it's really interesting to think that the alcohol that's invading your personality is seeking itself. That is the most like self-absorbed thing I've ever heard. All it wants is more of itself. What, dude? And you have to go through the motions, or else you're a slave to your own mind at that point. You're not a slave to alcohol. Alcohol is just a fluid. You don't do anything with it. You don't have any issues with it.
right?
But the struggle that most people have is, "But I still kinda want it." You don't want alcohol, you want what it provides. "Yeah, but there's no buts, bro." Okay, okay. Well, do you wanna fix that? Because you know that I can take the alcohol out of your hands. I can remove it from your house. You could stay sober for the next 6 years, still hate yourself, still wanna drink, still be the exact same person, still do nothing, still get the same results, and the one thing that's different is you're not drinking. Nobody cares that you're not drinking. You don't even care. Because if you did, you would do something with your life and become someone that doesn't want to drink.
Ooh, that's that's a good one.
It's facts, dude. This is the rough stuff. This is why when I'm working with people, we got tears flowing. It's because it's like, yeah, you're right. Okay, so can we at least pretend like we're important for a little while, see what happens? What's the worst that can happen? What, you can get better sleep? All right, talk to me in 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh. So 18 months did is that so you were in 8 did it take you 18 months to feel normal again?
Yeah, if you would call that normal. Um, I didn't know that I had ADHD for a long time, so my brain specifically latched to everything that it knew, and it had never tried anything new. So that recovery process was actively challenging what I believed and what I understood while contrasting it against who I know I actually am while developing the practices to help that evolve, like the becoming. Part of the becoming is the disconnection. So I'm sitting here subconsciously latching on to who I think I am while actively moving
Mm.
towards who I know I actually am. And so there's this string attached between the two where I don't even agree with my own thoughts. Like I'm literally having thoughts about my thoughts, which was just insane. So you're looking at first off getting through all the brain fog, getting through all the narcissistic, just just horrendous, like deep rooted mechanisms that you developed when you were surviving, not just the poison, but life in general. Getting rid of all of those and developing new ones and having a conscious conversation about your own experience is just crazy. So there became a point within about 18 months where I was like, I could function as a person without debating who I am. I've got a grip on where I'm going right now. No, I'm not making a ton of money. No, I still have a felony. My body is still wrecked, but it's doing better. I'm healthier than I've ever been. I haven't gone very far. I'm just over a year old as this person. I'm fresh as a human, and
Mm.
that's enough. So it took me like 18 months roughly to just feel like a decent human being that had a good heart, wanted to do good things, and take his second opportunity seriously.
Oh my gosh. Like, it's the very beginning. It's like you're new again. Like, you have
Yeah.
to relearn everything that you were and, like, this new body, this new mindset.
Right, right. And it's funny that you say mindset. Mindset is great as a tool, but you could destroy yourself with the right mindset and the wrong perspective. Because we look at a mindset as a way to look at things or to perceive things. But if you perceive those things with the right tools from a state of desperation or despair or pain or uncertainty or false hope, those same tools now become weapons against yourself. So, what's most important for anybody is to get out of the mindset phase, use it in the beginning to reach a mind state. It is a state of being, a state of harmony, homeostasis, where things are what they are, you are who you are, it was what it was, and it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Once you reach this state of just allowance, then you use those tools as literal super weapons. All right, I'm okay with whatever happens. My thoughts, feelings don't change the fact that this is what it is. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try it. Here we go. It didn't work. Cool. Let's do something else. do it and try it and didn't work. Okay, we're just gonna keep going. And then you get stuck in this beautiful cycle of what I would call perpetual reinforcement, which is you do one cool thing and you feel one good feeling, and then you start becoming your biggest cheerleader and your biggest fan. Get it, bro. Boop, fist bump, just you in the mirror. Oh, I'm feeling sexy, bro. No, 2 hats today, gangster. And then you just like fall in love with who you actually are. And it goes beyond fixing yourself because there was never anything broken. It goes into optimizing yourself and becoming the person that you needed when you were struggling.
How have you healed from all of your past trauma? Like, have you done therapy or did you just
Nobody heals from trauma.
right,
It just is what it is. You can
right.
I got stories of people billionaires crying at these stories. How could someone do that? I don't know. It's probably alcohol. How
Right.
it is what it is. It just happened. I didn't deserve it. I didn't ask for it. That wasn't supposed I guess it was supposed to happen because it didn't happen any other way. And even if I did change something, nothing would be different. One of the ways that I look at I was on a talk show with Jackie Simmons, and she said one of the phrases that she used that I now use specifically with people who are struggling, traumatic experiences, even people who haven't experienced that much trauma but still struggle with substances for as a coping mechanism. My favorite phrase, and I use it almost daily, is it was the best that they could come up with at the time. When we full circle life experiences and we look at trauma, we look at what happened to us, or more importantly, what didn't happen for us when we needed it. Some of the most detrimental traumas is feeling alone in times of need. No one was there. They said they were going to be there. It wasn't there. I had to fend for myself, whatever it was. I tried to do it and this happened. They got in the way. There's betrayal, whatever it is. And we look at this phrase and we try and apply it anywhere we possibly can. And we go, it was the best that they could come up with at the time. Did they hit you? In the infinite world of possibilities, infinite, all possibilities are possible. You could have thought about an elephant, but instead you landed on with all your cerebral capacity to punch me in the face. Whoa, that's all you had? I'm not even mad. That's sad. Like, I get you. I understand that. You weren't capable of coming up with something different.
Right.
Can and capable are not the same. Yeah, I could have done this, but I wasn't capable of doing it. Yes, this
Wow.
could have been different, but I wasn't capable of making it happen. So when we look at our own decisions, like what I did when I was drinking, the people that were involved or whatever it is, or what they did to me, I use that phrase to really pull the emotional weight away and create a sense of reality, of truth, and go, "Hey, dude, this is the best I could come up with at the time." Of all of the infinite possibilities, that's what I landed on, and I'm sorry. Like, damn, I got some work to do. I apologize. But these are the emotional shifts, the perspectives that are really important to even practice embodying. Because once we remove the emotional weight, we have less of a reason to punish ourselves or hurt ourselves or make our own life more difficult. And then in turn, guess what happens? That domino effect. Everyone gets the benefit from my own existence. What? Yeah.
Right. I love it. Uh, for someone listening who is ignoring their own warning signs, what message do you have for them?
You deserve to be happy. You deserve health. You deserve peace. You deserve compassion. No, it's not because of that thing you did the other day. No, not because there's kitty on you. No, not because you earned it. No, not that reason either. You're a human. You're a person. Nobody is out here trying to take you away from yourself. You are allowed to heal. More importantly, you could either grow in that pain or with that pain. If it's the pain that's keeping you stuck, just know you're not going to expand if you keep creating the pain that makes it unbearable. But you can use that pain to help you get stronger. That's the point. Did you feel it once? Good. We're done now. You're allowed to let it go. No, you're not disrespecting someone or the circumstance because you're having a good day and it's not bothering you anymore. You're supposed to be happy. If you're struggling, that's why people like us are out here to remind you that you have everything you need. You are everything you need, and you've done everything you possibly can, and it's more than enough. You're killing it.
Mm. I How long are your programs?
I have them up to like 7 weeks. It just depends on who's going through what. A lot of people don't need the entire program, and I designed it that way specifically. What I do is I front load a majority of the information that's most important. So you go through the first week, first like 5 videos of a program, you're going like, I think I got it. Right. But then there's also 5 more weeks of goodness that you could capitalize on. Some people don't really make the shift or things don't really click like we were talking about earlier until like a few modules in, or maybe a lot of times we'll chat about halfway through the program and go like, oh yeah, that was the thing I was just hung up on. Okay, that makes sense. And then we apply it as a practice and then they get the real results that they were looking for. Some people jumped into the program and then realized that their trauma was so unbearable that they couldn't get the material to stick. They found too much emotional weight, and it was basically impeding their potential of recovery. So they had to go talk to a trauma therapist first. Other people's life circumstances happened. Some people have lapsed. Some people lost somebody and they had to go back into the program later. But I've worked with people through the programs who've been to numerous wars. We talk about veterans. We were talking about people who were drinking for 20 years, had an addiction for 15 years, that went through the Beyond Sober program. They just had their second kid. They just got married. I just saw pictures of them at Disneyland. People finally found the love of their life in the program. Like, what? Who knew? Like, crazy stuff. But I've worked with people, families, friends of friends. I mean, the court system, schools, all of them. And the beautiful part is nobody's built different. No one is less human. And if one human can do it, if I can do all this, especially through liver failure and cardiac arrest and all that stuff, what makes you think that you don't have what it takes to get it done? It's all right there for you. And you are out here saving lives too, supporting people. You're throwing content, you're introducing your community with my community. You're spreading the love and the energy and the light. You are a constant reminder that health and happiness is infinite and that you're going to keep showing up.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I like sometimes I talk to people, I'm like, gosh, why do you live so far away? I wish we could like do events together or like collab or like, there's just like so much. I love your energy. Like I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yours too. You're killing it. You're doing so much amazing work, and I'm beyond proud of you.
Well, I am very proud of you. You've come from literally your deathbed to life.
So, dude, I'm not special. Keep in mind, it's really simple. I haven't done anything that the doctors didn't recommend. If I was to say anything else, I'd be like, hey, dude, the doc, as much as a money grab it may feel like, they also probably care. If you just follow their instructions, don't try and go too far off the rails, you'll probably get the results. Awesome.
So you're the healthiest you've probably been like for
My
ever.
entire life. Oh yeah. I didn't even know. I didn't even know I could feel this good. I didn't know I could look this good. I'm in the gym every day, and I love who I've become. I love who I'm becoming. It's just incredible to wake up and just go like, "Damn, this is life." Why would I want to
Yeah.
get away from this? It sucks on certain days, right? It's cold, miserable. Sometimes people suck. But my worst day happy is still so much greater than my best day faded.
Right. I mean, definitely working through those emotions is not easy, and I tell people that. I said, "When you quit drinking, you're gonna feel emotions that you haven't felt because you've been drinking them away." When I had to sit through so many emotions coming up to my 1 year, I was like,
Yeah,
like, it was, like, so, like, this is what it feels like. I have stood in the shower crying. I've literally, like, just, like, wanted to lay in bed, but, like, still those if I would have been drinking during those emotions, it would have escalated the situation tenfold.
absolutely. Alcohol is an amplification unit. We may assume that it's fixing an emotion or numbing an emotion, but you can't numb the pain without numbing the pleasure too.
Right.
We think that the anxiety is going away because you can't feel it. Dude, just because you can't feel the pain doesn't mean you're not in it. Your brain and body know what's happening. We got to respect that. But yeah, it's most of us make it worse way before we allow it to get better. But that's why we go like, okay, well, I don't want to do that. Well, let's not. Let's do some
Yeah.
of this work, man. I'm telling you, like once it shifts and you go, I'm not working on myself. I'm not fixing anything. I'm optimizing my life experience. I'm optimizing who I am. You sit here and go like, I'm drinking a glass of water not because I'm trying not to do something. I'm drinking water because I deserve to be hydrated. I feel better. Like, why would I not? Right? Why would I sacrifice hydration because of a dream I had last night? I feel kind of funny. Drink your water.
Right? Oh my gosh. So everybody that's watching this, I will put your information in the description, and then we just need everybody to go subscribe so we can continue like getting the information out there and like getting your notification, especially like your videos that you put out. Like I absolutely like you will help my community so much.
Love that. We'll link up. We'll do a cross platform. I just put a video out today. It's called the 7 Day Survival Guide. It actually literally it comes with a full on guide, step by step, thought by thought, what to do and what to expect. It's got journal prompts. It's got meditation ideas. It's got the whole thing. You can fill it out either online or just whatever you want to do. But also you pair that with the video, and it's exactly what to expect. 7 days is when it's as your body's acclimating. But then I also put another video out about the first 30 days. So what happens after 10 days, what to expect, how to capitalize, what to do. More importantly, there's so many resources out there. And the only thing that we want, the only thing that I really want is for us to just pretend like we matter for just a few minutes, right? Just give it a shot, right? And if you need support, there's communities out here, there's people just like us that we want to see you win. Like we want you to not just survive, man, we want you to thrive. And if there's a tool or a resource or a community or a question that, we could answer, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. So yeah, like if they have the questions, drop them in the comments and like let's have a conversation.
Word, let's do it.